Godfall dropped its trailer at the Game Awards in 2019 and surprised a lot of people with great graphics and a brand new fantasy setting for us to explore. It's also the first game to announce that it would be a launch title on the PS5 and that it's coming to PC via the Epic Store. But what else is there to know about Godfall? This is Viking Size Gamer, and here are 10 things you need to know about Godfall. You can play as all 3 characters in the trailer. In the Godfall trailer, you're introduced to 3 characters, one of them known as Old Blood. In an interview with Keith Lee, the creative director on Godfall and the CEO at Counterplay Games, he confirmed that you'll actually be able to play as all 3 through the game by collecting the armor sets known as Valor Plates. All the footage from the trailer was in-game. The footage you saw in the trailer was rendered in real-time in-engine footage. Everything from the weapons, the characters, and the environment itself are all in-game graphics, which means you're not seeing a CGI fest of a game that will never look this good, because that is the game. That's impressive, considering the game's come out in 2020 and it's likely working on a PS5 dev kit. The Godfall world is split into 5 realms. In Godfall, you'll traverse 5 realms: Earth, Water, Air, Fire, and Spirit. In the trailer, you see 3 characters looking up as they stand in the Earth realm. That giant monster you see creeping through? That's from the Water realm, and you're probably going to have to fight it. Armor can be augmented. In Godfall, you collect ancient pieces of armor called Valor Plates, all with their own lineage and history, and each Valor Plate can be augmented depending on their characteristics. Some may have more slots for augments than others, but this allows you to place in magical buffs, and this adds some elements that you might be familiar with if you've played Final Fantasy games and had experience with the materia system before. One example given was that you can get an augment that heals you and your allies whenever you hit an enemy's weak point. Play solo or with friends. Godfall is designed for co-op play, which means you and 2 friends can take on the evil that lurks throughout the game, or you can play solo and try to take them on by yourself. But if you decide to play as a team, there's a drop-in, drop-out style of connection to get you into the action, and it's designed so you can play with friends who are at mixed levels. They wanted to make sure that everyone, regardless of their level, can contribute to the team. Flexible player classes. Keith Lee also confirmed that you can change class in the middle of combat or in a mission, which is a fantastic idea. Changing your tactics mid-battle when what you're doing isn't working is a must. The player classes are inspired by Monster Hunter, with some being more slow and deliberate like handling a great axe, to being more nimble with a short sword, but will also require you to move in and out of combat to avoid being stomped on by the enemies you come across. Intense combat. Speaking of combat, Godfall makes use of the new PS5 controller's adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. You can expect combat to be an edge-of-your-seat affair, relying on your instincts, creativity, and reflexes to get you through some precarious situations against the foes you come across. Making use of the new adaptive triggers will likely mean a chance for combo blows, use of magic, and limited ranged attacks to complement the main focus of combat in Godfall, the melee clashing of weapons on armor. The Flaming Sword is a lootable weapon. You saw it, I saw it, we all saw it. Once that sword came into view and then turned into the steel equivalent of the Human Torch, I wanted it. The great news is that this sword is a lootable weapon in the game. You can collect it, use it, and likely upgrade it, which makes me wonder what other kinds of swords will be in the game and what other magical abilities will they have. It's also PvP. The developers at Counterplay Games got some help from Kowloon Knights for funding rather than using Kickstarter. The portfolio on Kowloon Knights webpage states that Godfall is a new third-person online action combat game focused on real-time melee, PvP and PvE by Counterplay, which means we could be seeing knights throughout the world taking on each other as well as the environment. Its original release year was 2019. In September of 2018, Polygon dropped an article about Kowloon Knights and the titles the investment fund were contributing to. In this article, it talked about Godfall, saying for Counterplay on its previous game Duelist, the team both ran a Kickstarter campaign and ended up signing with a publisher. This time, it's doing neither of those things, in large part because it's making something bigger and more experimental, to nestle between that AA and AAA sort of status, says Counterplay CEO Keith Lee, and wanted the budget and flexibility to do so. Its new game is a fantasy third-person online action title called Godfall, which Lee says gets many team members back to their roots on working on large projects, such as when he worked on the Diablo and Ratchet & Clank series prior to starting Counterplay. the team plans to release the game in 2019. Since then, Counterplay have made Godfall into a AAA game and decided to publish with Gearbox, the creators of the looter-shooter series Borderlands, which is a smart move as Counterplay is only a moderate studio of 75 people. And that was 10 things you need to know about Godfall. Are you excited to learn more in the spring? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.